Good evening and welcome to my weekly plan for Apple and recap of one trade that I was holding before I had to go away for a little while. Uh, 20 July 195 calls here at 151, half off at 170. Once it came into the 21 EMA resistance, gap down and closed me out at 117. It wasn't necessarily that level on that candle, but I know the fill to get out was 117. Excuse me. Now, going forward, what I'm looking at planning to trade is primarily bearish with Apple. Although price action is very similar to the S&P 500, I'm going to be looking for bearish plays off the open. Ideally, if it opens up in the middle of here, comes down and breaks this 180.5 level, I will take 180 puts for Friday's expiration down to 178 is the conservative measure move price target. More aggressively, if there is volume on the break below 180.5, price target will be around 175.5, 175.25, maybe even all the way down to the 200 SMA, which is this purple line down here. If that does occur, I will look to take 172.5 calls about 2 weeks out in the future off of this 200 SMA. If it comes down there, it may even break down and test this gap, see if it's a legit gap. It's also the apex of this overall consolidation triangle here that I've had drawn for a little while. Excuse me. So that's what I'm looking at for on the open. If price action opens up, chops around, and breaks above this 50 SMA level, I might take these 185 calls about 2 weeks out in the future for a test of the 8 EMA. Now, 8 EMA may drop down to around 185. If you look from Friday to today, it went down 187 to 129 so it went down $1. So this will probably open up about 185 tomorrow, which doesn't leave a whole lot of room for profit versus that risk. So may not be the most ideal setup. However, if price action does gap up and it looks like bears are having to close their positions and bulls are winning on the trade, I will chase it with 185, maybe even 187.5 calls about 2 weeks out in the future for a move back up to this 180-ish area, back up into this apex of this previous triangle, previous flag. Now, as I've said in my older videos from last week, a lot of these flags like to break, provide a false breakout, come down, break back through it, find some sort of support somewhere, and rally back up to the measure move price target, which is still around 215. So I am still looking for that overall move up to that level. However, for a trade, I'm simply looking at this initial break off of the open. Until it hits a significant level of support, I'm not going to be too heavy in any kind of long positions for Apple. The setup is not as ideal or not as bullish as S&P is, and did not have the closing strength there that the S&P did either. So just time to be patient, look for trades just to make some profits and see what happens going forward. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Also, come join us over at the Trade Crew chat room. It is a free chat. Follow along with some of these trades, maybe lock in some gains. Have a good evening and good luck.